Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Some of you have mentioned it, but Conflux Network, which is China's only legal and regulated Chinese blockchain, sees prices skyrocket 1,300% in 2023. That is 13x. And now it basically has a market cap of $700 million, ranking it number 75. Not that high, but not that low either. A lot of volume at $800 million. As you can see, it is on Binance. That's where most of the volume comes from. And then KuCoin, Gate.io. None of the American exchanges yet. So US people can't get their hands on it. But it is a Chinese blockchain that's actually legal. And there's actually a coin. So there's been a lot of evidence lately with the former banking official from China saying that China should rethink its basically view on banning crypto trading altogether. There is the news out of Hong Kong that they're actually at least opening up to fat cats, but may actually open up to retail investors. And they said rest of country as well. And the rest of country obviously means China because Hong Kong has been part of China since 1997 for about 25 years now. So there's a lot of signals the Chinese government may be pivoting. Now, there are obviously darker explanations for this, of course, like this was set up as a Ponzi scheme. It's going to scam us out of a lot of money, and then China's just going to shut it down, and the US can't really do anything about that. While that is possible, that seems somewhat unlikely because that would actually make China look bad, and China does not want to lose face internationally, so they wouldn't actually put up with something like this that could actually damage their country's reputation. The other thing is it could just be a Chinese spy network, and they're just wanting everyone to adopt the blockchain so they can spy on them. I think that's actually more likely than the first scenario, and that, of course, would be bad. But the third one is, and I think like this might be the most likely one, is the government is already thinking about like basically redoing their stance on crypto. And the thing is, like, an ex-banking official, he's probably like it's basically like the ex-governor of the Chinese central bank. He's got to be pretty high up on the government ladder, honestly. So for him to actually come out and say something like that, there's probably some internal move to actually do that. Now, the thing is, like, why would they actually do this? Well, the Chinese economy isn't actually doing so well. Because of the COVID shutdowns, there was unrest. And overall, the pace of the growth of the economy has been slowing for a while now. You see a lot of people that are actually unemployed over there because they have a lot of college graduates and basically not enough jobs for all of them. Manufacturing is kind of slowing down as lower wage Asian countries like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia start taking some of the Chinese manufacturing away. China, because of their restrictive political system, isn't really that good at developing their own technologies, and the consumer base in China is not ready to take over as a consumer-based economy like the US has. They're still largely dependent on exports, especially exports to the US. This is one of the main reasons why they don't outright basically help Russia, because if the US sanctions them and Europe sanctions them, they're pretty much screwed because no one else is going to buy their crap. No one wants, the stuff that they produce, like besides the West. It's basically like, you can't sell it to the Middle East, you can't sell it to Russia, you can't sell it to Southeast Asia. So many of their factories would shut down. You have mass unemployment, and a lot of people would just like lose their jobs, and the economy would collapse without the exports to the West. So China is actually a lot more dependent on the West than the West is to China because they don't have a critical resource like oil that we actually want. And the thing is, their labor is replaceable, whereas like we as a market to the Chinese industry are not really easily replaceable because there is no one else right now. So they need a new kind of economic development to bring technological innovation and also to provide jobs. And they might actually see crypto as that. They're seeing like a lot of other countries adopt crypto, and they're looking at it like, we need another spark because this just producing like low tech crap for like the United States and Europe, it may not actually work in the long run. So they might actually see crypto as that. Now, if they do see it that way and they do slowly open up to first fat cats and then retail, which coins will benefit the most? Well, the coins with Chinese ties and that can get approval are going to benefit the most. And, some of those we can think are maybe like Neo, Vechain, and a couple of others, especially Conflux, because they're the only, Vechain's not like a regulatory approved Chinese coin, by the way, but Conflux is. I don't really know how that works because Vechain, like last year, moved their headquarters to Europe and they're not really based in China anymore. Even before Europe, they were based in Singapore. So they're trying to cut a little bit of ties with the Chinese government, but they also work with a lot of Chinese partners. So I still think they would have a head step in the game. I do think China opening up would definitely help Vechain, at least with the big investors. Like it definitely, I think, would help Neo and Conflux more. But I think like with Vechain and a couple others, it would actually help as well. So realistically, I do kind of like this development. I do hope that China does open up by June or maybe like the entire country sometime by next year. That could be the spur of another big bull run, and it would definitely hyperpump things like I think like VeChain, Neo, and others that are considered Chinese-based coins. Even if they're not really Chinese-based, just the thought process of oh these coins are Chinese-based will pump them more than the regular market. And since I have one of those coins, I'm hoping that's actually what happens. So that's my view on it. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.